There are almost 30,000 days in an average human lifetime. People waste thousands of them on mistakes and wrong turns and dead ends. But the good news is that by avoiding 5 specific mistakes, you can transform your entire existence. Today we're breaking down exactly what those mistakes are, what they are, how they happen, and what you can do to make sure they don't hurt you. A lot of people sleepwalk through life. For them, these mistakes are almost unavoidable. You don't have to be one of those people. Most of the time, the difference between those who thrive and those who merely survive comes down to awareness. It's the conscious choice to live deliberately rather than accidentally, to make the right choices when we see the choice in front of us and can still choose. This brings us to our first mistake, the easiest one to make. It's thinking, there's always more time. Here's the truth. Time is precious. We have a limited amount of time on this planet, and the truth is, every day it's running out. The worst part is that we don't just waste any time. We waste our most productive time. We give our peak energy to things that don't matter and save the scraps for what does. Think about a typical day. When are you sharpest? When is your mind clearest? For most people, it's the morning. Yet what do we do with those golden hours? We scroll through social media. We check emails that could wait. We consume other people's thoughts instead of creating our own. You've got to do your best to conserve your time and to make the most of it. So for this example, in the morning, it would be better to wake up and use your time on things that matter. And conversely, it would be better to stop doing things that don't matter. There's a real danger in thinking there's always more time, because for all you know, there isn't. Don't continuously put things off until next month or next year. If it needs to happen, and it's at all important that it happen, try to make it happen now. If it can't happen today, then think about how it can happen this week. And if it can't happen this week, then take time out and think about how you can clear your schedule to make it happen within 10 days. This is about one thing. Recognizing that every moment is a choice. Right now, as you listen to these words, you're choosing how to spend this slice of your life. Is your life right now, and are your choices aligned with who you want to become? The Stoics knew how important this was. Marcus Aurelius said, "Confine yourself to the present in your thoughts and actions. Instead of putting essential tasks off endlessly, move them back into the present, where they belong, and where you can do them now." Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor who needed every second he got. He understood something profound. The present moment is the only place where change can happen. They say that the past is a memory and the future is your imagination. The present is different because it's the one place that exists outside your mind. Right now is where your life is actually being lived. It's easy to think there's always more time, but the hourglass of your life is running out, little by little. You should think consciously about what you want to accomplish and then start doing it. That's how you can beat this before it beats you. By getting ahead of the problem and then doing something about it. Consider this. You are a mortal being, a human being, which means one day you will die. If you knew you had exactly 1 year left to live, what would you stop doing immediately? What would you start doing? The gap between those answers and how you're living now, that's where your real priorities can be found. Like any big change, doing this won't be easy. But if you got an hour of work done instead of an hour of social media, don't you think you'd feel better? Take that mindset and apply it to the rest of your life. That's the first big change you can make. You'd be amazed at how much it can help. And that brings us to our second mistake. It's focusing insufficiently on what matters in your life. Let's go through the list. TV shows, movies, sports, social media. There's so many ways to split your attention. As the Romans said, art is long and life is short. Now, a little bit of entertainment can be good and healthy, but there's a limit here, and you don't want to be over it. Many people get more worked up about other people's lives, or even fake lives, than their own. We can recite dialogue from movies we've seen a dozen times while struggling to express our own values and dreams. Whatever you're into, know this. You have to use the time you have, the majority of it, on things that will improve the outcomes in your life. You have your life to live, and no one else's. No one else can do this work for you. You must do it for yourself. On a day-to-day level, this means making the right choices. It means investing in your future self. It means making decisions that your future self would want you to make. Every book you don't read but should, every conversation you're postponing, every skill you need but don't have. These are debts you're creating that compound over time. And every time you do one of those things, you pay that debt off and create value in its place. Let's be clear here. No one else will ever care about the quality of your life as much as you do. You are the main character of your life, and you have to write the script and create the environment for that character to succeed. Think about the people who inspire you most. They're not waiting for permission to live fully. They're not asking others to solve their problems. They've taken responsibility for their own growth, their own happiness, their own meaning. You should be inspired to do the same. It's not a job that can be outsourced, or entrusted to someone else, or endlessly put off. It's on you. It's your obligation. And you're the one who will benefit the most if you can pull it off well. But it's easy to forget that. Our culture, in a lot of ways, encourages us to forget about our problems and give in to mindless entertainment. We live in an attention economy where our focus is the product being sold. Every app, every platform, every piece of content is engineered to capture and hold your attention, not to improve your life, but to profit from your engagement. Think about a typical night. We turn on the TV. We find a show that we like. We identify with the character. They struggle. They work to complete a goal or a job, and then they, and we, feel good. But it's their fictional life that has improved, not ours. It's up to us to make sure that energy carries over, because we are the only ones who can truly change our own lives. We have the power, but the price of that power is that we have to use it. Here's a radical thought. What if you treated your own life with the same curiosity and focus that you gave to your favorite characters? What if you studied your own patterns, celebrated your own growth, and got invested in the outcome of your own story? You could live the rest of your life in a way that could inspire millions. Have you ever thought of your life like that? If you haven't, try it now. For a moment, think of what it would be like if your life, exactly as you live it now, was the subject of a movie, a book, a TV show. What would it be like? What would the central drama be? Would it be an adventure? Or would it be one of those movies where nothing really happens? Just a character going through the motions, day after day, until the credits roll. For some people, life may seem like a joke. It isn't meant to be. Every life can have dignity, meaning, and purpose. So if no one else has, Let me be the one to tell you that your life, just as it is, has a story worth following. And every great story has an arc. The character starts in one place and, through trials and growth, arrives somewhere else. In a way, you are the artist creating that arc now. The art is the life that you are constructing now with your choices and your actions. Except unlike our fictional examples, this one is real. The stakes are higher. The plot isn't fake. It really matters. So consider pouring some of that attention that you give to entertainment back into your life. If a movie takes a few hours to watch, think about taking a small fraction of that time, 30 minutes, to think about your life as if you were a director filming it. Think about the plot and the subplots and how you'd like to resolve them. This exercise is useful because it shows us something. Our lives are made up of the same drama we see all around us. And while it takes time to figure out how to live a good life, it's a gift you should give to yourself. Of course, no movie would be complete without a struggle or a difficulty of some kind. That's why our third mistake is so important to avoid. That mistake is being overly negative about the bad parts and the errors in your life. As Stoics, we believe in the power to make change. You have a human mind. You have resources. Most importantly, you have the ability to make change in the world. It's probably very easy for you to spot the problems in your life. And now that you've recognized they are a problem, you can start to solve them. You can do that by breaking them down to a manageable size, coming up with a plan to tackle them one by one, and then taking them out one at a time. Because Stoicism is all about solving problems. We look at the world, we see what needs to change, and then we show agency and change it. That's Stoicism, in a nutshell. That's the legacy that Marcus Aurelius and all those other great minds gave to us. The Stoics taught that there's an art to this. Most people either ignore their problems until they become crises, or they get overwhelmed by trying to fix everything at once. The wise approach is different. Acknowledge the problem, assess what's within your control, and take the next smallest step. Think of it like climbing a mountain. You don't focus on the peak. That's too far. You don't focus on how far you've already come. That's too much. You focus on the next step, then the next, then the next. So when you look at your problems, as intimidating as they are, you don't have to respond as though they need to be conquered today. You don't have to feel defeated. You definitely do not have to give up. Instead, you can look at the problems in your life and start getting to work on solving them to the extent that you can. And that brings us to our fourth mistake. Not every problem can be personally solved by you. The fourth big mistake in life is trying to control what you cannot control. You live in a world and on a planet with a lot going on at any one time. Each of us, individually, is a small part of it. Now, within our own lives, we control a lot, more than most people think. But as you start going outside your own life, that influence fades. And by the time you get to national issues affecting millions or even hundreds of millions, that influence, for the average person, has become very, very small. And we unfortunately live in a world that often focuses the most on the problems we can't control, even if we can't fix them, because they trap our attention best. This is perhaps the hardest wisdom to accept in our hyper-connected age. We're constantly bombarded with problems we can't solve, injustices we can't fix, and disasters we can't prevent. And our natural response is to feel anxious, angry, or helpless. But here's the paradox. The more energy you spend worrying about what you can't control, the less energy you have for what you can control. And what you can control is significant. Your thoughts, your reactions, your choices, your efforts. You have a lot of influence within the sphere of your life. But outside that sphere, all bets are off. The point here is that you should concentrate on what you can change. You should be aware and thinking hard about how emotional you are getting about things you can't change. Most people spend their mental energy on what they read and experience through the media and then wonder why they feel powerless. Wise people focus on what they can change and then work to expand that. The bottom line is that you have to be realistic about what is possible, given your time and resources. The answer isn't to become indifferent to the world's problems. It's to channel your energy into effective action rather than anxious and passive consumption. For example, you can go to a protest or donate money, and that will have an impact, but you've got to stay realistic about the outcome. Because the truth is that most of the news events we watch on TV will continue on the tracks they are already on. You, on the other hand, have a limited amount of time to change a limited amount of problems. So use the resources you have on what you can change and spend them well. The final mistake includes all the others, in a way. It's living your life without a personal philosophy. Think back to what we said earlier about being the main character of your life. If you think about a work of art about someone, they almost always have a philosophy of life, which they express through their thoughts and through their actions. A personal philosophy isn't supposed to be an abstraction. It's a practical framework for living, a set of principles that guide your decisions when life gets complicated. You don't want to be drifting through life reactively. You should have clear principles and values to guide your decisions. Most people inherit their philosophy without thinking about it. They absorb it from parents, peers, and culture. But an examined philosophy, one you've consciously chosen point by point, is far stronger than an inherited one, and you have the power to create one. So take stock of your life. Think about your background, your parents, where you went to school, where you are now, and where you want to be. Ask yourself these questions. What experiences have shaped you the most? What lessons have you learned? And what do you want to be remembered for? From all of that, think about the values that distill and express who you are. It may take a while, but once you've got those values down, you've captured something valuable. These values are your decision makers. When you're faced with a choice, your values tell you which option aligns with who you want to be. Your values are your code. You should think about how you can live them and express them. Furthermore, they aren't meant to live on a page. Your philosophy must be tested. It must be expressed in the world. You need to live these values out, especially when it's difficult, especially when no one is watching, especially when there's a cost involved. Your philosophy should also evolve. What serves you at 20 might not serve you at 40. What works in times of plenty might not work in times of scarcity. Wisdom means adapting your principles while holding on to your core values. So make your commitment to what you believe. Then go out into the world and put those values into action. Believe it or not, many people may be rooting for you. Because when you put good values into action, you're making the world a better place. And that's something that everyone who's aligned with you can celebrate. With that, we've covered the most important mistakes to avoid in life. These 5 mistakes: thinking there's always more time, focusing on what doesn't matter, being overly negative about problems, trying to control the uncontrollable, and living without a philosophy, give rise to bad fruit. They're patterns that compound over time, ruining lives that often end with regret. But the beautiful thing about awareness is that it opens this up. Once you see these patterns, you can choose differently. You can reclaim your time, redirect your attention, and redesign your life according to principles you've consciously chosen. You can choose to have direction. You can do better. You can wake up to your own life and take charge today. If this video helped you recognize these life-changing mistakes, leave a comment below sharing which one hit closest to home. Your reflection might be exactly what another viewer needs to transform their remaining days. And remember to subscribe for more wisdom that turns awareness into action. They say the average person has roughly 30,000 days. Some of them are already gone. But today, right now, you can begin living the remaining ones differently. If you're in a bad situation, you can turn it around. No matter who you are or how many days you've lived, it's an effort worth making. So seize the day. Choose awareness over autopilot. Choose purpose over distraction. Choose the life you were meant to live, starting today.